Oh, that's all. That's all the time we have. Should I close the rooms?
I'm sorry. I know
We
you
can
all
chat
have
more
a
later.
lot of
Take
fun.
time with the.
But any interesting sharing that you have? Sorry, Teresa, it seems like you're enjoying.
So we were just like getting into the breakout rooms because it was a bit messy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so me and Ellen are sharing a breakout room together here on the main place.
I think everyone should turn their video on, right?
Yeah. It helps a lot because it brings a lot of connection. If possible, we would really appreciate it because when we see your face, it just brings us more joy and connection. It's easier for the speaker to share as well because when I'm not facing the computer, right? I'm facing you, directly with you, and that's important to us. So how's the session go? Anyone like to share? For me, it's really simple. You know, I find that so much of us has joy with nature, chocolates, in music, TV. And why do we do the exercise? Because when we can connect back with our childhood memories, we can see what brings us joy, what brings us passion, and maybe we can go for the future as well. Like for Teresa, it's about playing, right? Maybe that's how she finds creativity, and right now she wants to empower others to be creative as well. So that could be one of the clues. But thanks everyone for joining back. Love to hear any one or two sharing here we have. If you volunteer.
Ninja, what are you drinking?
Yeah, I like your bottle.
Yeah.
I can join you also.
It's just the biggest bottle I can find, which is a sake bottle. It's not sake inside, but
That's sake or water inside?
It's water. I wish it was sake, but it's all gone now. Yeah, I realized that, one of the cheapest non-beer booze I could get is actually sake, and you come in very convenient big bottles like this that last for quite a while.
Is that what you do at
the
years
bottle
old?
show at the Tilayu.
Yeah. And I am one of those who actually drink alone, so it's a little bit dangerous.
Oh.
Okay, what's next now?
Kevin, are you facilitating?
So, yes. Okay. So, thank you for participating in the ice breaking session. Feel free to write in your chat, like any interesting stories that you heard from one another that you like to share. So you all have about 1 minute to type it out.
You sleep first, okay? Mama, the time this call and come back, okay?
If anyone to shout out quickly also, feel free to share it.
Hey Ninja, I want to see your joy.
It's just me climbing a tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can we see all of our wings quickly? That looks really cool though. Wow.
Nice.
Mine is like
that's super
hanging out in
awesome.
nature, reading books or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, our breakout room didn't get to share because we were just in and out of the breakout room.
Oh no! Feel free to share in the chat box.
Yeah.
Please do that.
So the whole 1 minute, we were just going in and out of the breakout room.
Oh, sorry about that.
Didn't get to share anything. It's okay. At least everyone's here now. Family.
Go under the table.
Wrong typing.
All right. So let's see. Ellen can play badminton and swim at the same time. I found someone who doodle under a table, heard about someone standing outside staring at the sky and wondering about his life. Hey, I can relate to that. I did that a lot. A lot at 8 years old. Yeah, I was obsessed with the sky actually. And what am I here for? I saw someone draw food and watching TV. Okay. That was super funny. Drawing under tables. Picture he drew of him lying down on the floor, drawing under the table was super funny too. Doodle under the table. All right. So, so it's the same person doodling under the table. Oh yeah, same person doodling under the table. Otherwise, there's a lot of people doodling under the table.
Multi-talented.
Okay. So thank you for sharing. And without further ado, we will start with the highlights of the session. This is when all your speakers will start sharing. Okay, they'll take turns lah. So I'll pass the floor back to Frankie.
All right. Thanks, Karin, for the really awesome ice breaking. Got back us to connect what really makes us happy when we're a child. As simple as a chocolate, just remind me of my time now. I just had a chocolate yesterday. Right. Okay. So some grounding rules. We are here for a space of growth, learning, and inspiration. So please keep an open mind so we can learn from each other, and just have fun. Right. Be here now. Listen to our speakers and really engage with them and interact with them. What we do is that we have the sequence coming from David sharing how he actually found his purpose when he gone through a really tough time in his university. Finding the route to towards magic has its ups and downs. And Alan, how he swim from 3 years old until now to become who he is, right? Olympic swimmer, and really master that mindset and discipline to achieve what he wants. And Ninja, who has gone through a tough mental health challenge, but it's something that he learned along lesson. He really wants to share with us as well. And Charissa, it's like, okay, she just knows so much things with different areas in her life that was like striving. So he share a bit about what's the purpose within those areas, and we can just reflect and learn from each other and apply the learning. So I hope you're ready. Here's a bit more of the parts. And without further ado, I'd like to invite our first speaker, which is David. I really love David's stories because he not just transformed how he lived, but he's just able to see opportunity in areas that we cannot found. So let's welcome David. Okay, I know you all have the microphone.
Okay, thank you, Frankie. Thank you. Oh, how old am I right now? So that being said, let me share my screen. And let's go with this. All right. So today I'm going to share with you about my life, my story, and how do I find purpose. And I think purpose is something that always evolves during time. So this is the framework of my presentation. My framework is that success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. And this is so important. The whole framework surrounds through this because if you're happy and if you force yourself to be happy, you will make great decisions. You make good decisions. Yeah. And when you make good decisions, you will get better results. So let's dive into my story right now, and I hope that it wouldn't bore you out. Yeah. So everyone has a story, and this is mine. So when I was young, I have a fascination with magic. I saw David Copperfield in 1991. David Copperfield, one of the best magicians in the world, or rather the best magician in the world right now. When in 1991, he made a ship appear out of out of the Bermuda Triangle, and like, wow, that is how God looks like, is it? Yeah, although I'm a Christian, but yet still, yeah, that was my impression during those days. So as time goes by, obviously my parents were teachers. My mom was an English teacher. My dad was a maths teacher. I don't think they were really approve of me doing magic. So that was me. That's me when I'm 18. Look at the right side. Yes, that long hair dude. I was doing petroleum engineering and university technology of Petronas under a scholarship by Petronas. And I was miserable, man. Everything that I do wasn't aligned with my blueprint. You can see, I put this picture there because actually I was visiting a dam in Terengganu during this time, a hydroelectric dam. And you look at my smile. Look at my smile. It was so fake. You can actually spot it now, you know. Yeah. What a fake smile. I was eating nonsense. I was fat. Yeah. I weighed about 86 kilos during that time. Yeah. And now when I was in university and I stayed in campus, I was staying on the 5th floor. And I was staying at the 5th floor, I was looking down. I was so miserable because I didn't have friends. Imagine everybody wanted to study this, to make this a living. I was like, oh, this is not what I want to do. Yeah. Oh my God. And I was in first year. I had 5 more years to complete my degree. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so miserable. Yeah. I had an enormously bad relationship with my parents because my parents was the one pushing me into the scholarship. Boy, if you do this, you will be successful in life. You will actually find purpose. Yeah. That's how parents want to be. And I don't blame them at all. Yeah. They wanted a good life for me. Anyway, I looked down on the 5th floor. I'm like, what will happen if I jump down? And that was one of the lowest point ever. Yeah. And especially this particular dam right there, I went there. I looked at how the water flow to make electricity. I'm thinking, what am I doing here, man? Oh my God, I'm in a God deserted land. Yeah. Doing nothing. It's nothing there. It's just water at a dam. Yeah. So that being said, yeah, in university, there was this one incident, and went to my girlfriend's house. And when I went to my girlfriend's house during that time, yeah, the parents asked her, "What was your boyfriend doing?" And she was like, "Oh, he's studying engineering." But at that time, I was already doing magic, Yeah. So between magician or engineering, he was leaning towards a magician, and I wanted to prove that thing wrong. And the big spiral was that I broke up with my girlfriend because of my studies. I was a miserable guy, very, very bad influence anyway. Yeah. And this was my convocation. Okay. Quite obvious. My convocation was in 2009. Quite obvious that you can see that I wasn't in the picture. Yeah. I didn't attend my own convocation. Yeah. I wasn't there. Yeah. I made a decision to actually pursue magic, and I was a urban myth in university. If you were to Google up David Lai in University Technology Petronas, you can actually see all the things that I did at university. Yeah, because everybody was blogging about how did I pass and how did I get a degree in university. And the biggest comment during those days was that I got my roommate, one of siapa kawan dia tu, aku nak pinjam untuk final exam. Yeah. That was one of my best friends always take my exam for me, yeah, because he wanted pocket money. And I did whatever it took, because once I made a decision that, man, I'm stuck in a scholarship. If I quit right now, I have to pay back 175,000. I don't have that kind of money. I have to go through, have to finish up the degree. But while I'm doing the degree, I will actually do what I love. Yeah. And while I was doing what I love in university, performing nonstop, performing to any show I got, I actually partnered up with this was 11 years ago, 2009, by the way. If you can see the picture on the left side, it was actually Remy from Innuendo singing Belayan Jiwa, Pietro and Serena from Mix FM during those days, Harry Iskandar, Hans Isaac, Hannah Tan. So I was the youngest member in this group. I was 19, I still remember. And I was partnering with all the other people. I was saying, I have to make this a career. And to make this a career, I've got to learn from the people who are already successful. Yeah. And this was when I was 19. Imagine my parents were teachers. I didn't have any resource, Yeah. And this was a H factor. It was called a H. So I was actually doing this, partnering with them, learning from them. And I did whatever it takes. I graduated, yeah, in my university. And my purpose during university or during my late teens was that I wanted to be significant. I wanted to prove these people wrong. Everybody in university, I was laughing. It's like, hey, next time when I'm the boss, I will employ you to do magic for my kid. Yeah. So that was the notion in university, and I don't think it was the best purpose to have. Yeah, and everything I said, everything I thought about that time was wrong, but it was a driving factor. Now, results. So I was performing non-stop, and after I finished university, Malaysian market was so saturated, nobody would want to pay high. Yeah, the opening salary for an engineer during those days was about 3,500, 3,800. Yeah. And I said that I have to make more. So where to go? I went to Egypt. That was the first country I went to. And this is 2009, by the way. Yeah. There was still no iPhone. Yeah. The phone those days was Nokia 3310. Yeah. Or rather, 3310, I brought the 3310 to Egypt. Yeah. But there was still no internet in the... Because I went to Egypt during those days, and wow, it was a really virgin market. There were no magicians during those days. Yeah. And I performed for all the companies that needed a magician but couldn't hire an Egyptian. So I performed for beer's company. I don't drink beer. Yeah. So that was me during Egypt. I was my hippie hairstyle. Yeah. That is me performing in Egypt for Philip Morris International. Yeah. One Asian in the whole beach. This was Egypt during those days. One Asian in the whole beach. Yeah. And then I came back after performing and getting my money, and I came back, I said that, hey, now it's coming back to Malaysia. I've already built my circle. I've already built my skill. Imagine this, during university, I was just practicing with myself, with the cards that I have right here. I still have my cards right here. Yeah. Still right here. And I started performing more and more. This was for Ma Yun. That was for Mahathir, Jack Ma. And I performing more and more. And I said that, hey, yeah, it suddenly curved towards there. And what I did was that I want to create more opportunities for magicians. And I started directing shows. So what happened was that I started directing shows in Egypt. The first magic show in Egypt was actually directed by a Malaysian. The first magic show in Kuwait was also directed by a Malaysian. Yeah, and I started creating more opportunities for magicians. Yeah, and frankly, I can't actually see the timer. Yeah, because the screen is cut short right there. If you can actually voice out how much time do I have? Yeah,
2 more minutes.
because I can't really see the timer.
But it's okay. It's 2 more minutes, but you can go.
Great. So I started directing shows in Kuwait, Egypt, and I started doing my bass. Yeah, and after all, I accomplished a lot of things in magic. I met Chris Angel, and the one thing that I actually wanted to do was work with David Copperfield. And in 2014, 2015, I actually met Copperfield and actually worked with him. And that was when I actually lost all my passion, because it's like the astronaut. Yeah, going to the moon. That was what happened to me. And this is when I had a big shift. I changed my purpose at that time. And this is a big crisis. I was totally depressed, because I know it sounds a little bit kiddie, but I was totally depressed. I didn't have any more purpose after meeting David Copperfield, because money wasn't an option. Money wasn't an issue. Yeah? And I already almost achieved everything I want in Magic World. Yeah. And then I came back, I started business, and I changed my purpose into contribution and growth. Yeah. And these are the things that I actually did. So I started my own business. Yeah. And I actually started to employ all my best friends into my company. And that was a big joy. Yeah. Once I changed into, I only have 2 minutes left, Frankie. Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes done already. Sorry, you have. I think go through the lessons. Those are available parts.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to take 2 minutes to sum it up, because I have only 2 minutes to sum it up. Actually, I didn't see the timer the whole time. I couldn't see the timer because the chat box is down. Yeah. So first of all, I think the biggest lessons that I took to actually go to my purpose, changing my purpose to 5 lessons that I had. The biggest ones were identify my purpose. I was passionate about magic. Yeah. My biggest economic growth engine was actually connecting to people. And I could be the best in the world, not performing, but could be a best magic producer. Then I did whatever it takes. I actually hired people to do my university, went to Egypt, went to all the Middle East, learned French, to actually do magic up. And I did whatever it takes. And then after that, I kept on improving every single day, because by improving yourself, you get better results. And by getting better results, you ignite trust. Yeah. And last one, I got a mentor. So this was in 2009 when Tony Fernandez wasn't a Tan Sri yet. It was not even a Dato Sri. Yeah, so I actually learned from Tony Fernandez, Harif Iskandar, Hans, Douglas Lin. And this was when I was a young kid. And the most important thing was that, I guess the biggest lesson I have was that I have to surround myself with great people. And don't underestimate this, but you are the average of the 5 people you mix with. And surrounding myself with the best people actually align my purpose. Yeah. Because all these people that I've sort of aligned with, they weren't looking for significance. They were looking for growth. And why do purpose right now? And it may evolve over time, but yeah. Frankie, that's it. Yeah. My 5 biggest lessons. Sorry.
David. I love how David actually shared from how he was started with a passion in magic, and he just used what it takes to get forward in his life. So any question, please get to David, but maybe I can ask one myself first. So I really love how you are so resourceful in connecting with people to get what you want, but what inspired you to do that, and what strategy could you share with us to actually connect with people that we want when we're first starting out, right? Think you have any example case study that you could learn?
What do you say, Frankie?
Oh no, like if we just starting out to connect with people, right? Is there any ways we could do to network with them? Like what kind of strategy that you might have used that you can share with us?
When I was young, I was such a hustler. I can't even believe that I talk so fast until I sweat. Oh my god, yeah. So anyway, so what happened was that I tried to solve their problem. So one example I gave Frankie was that one of the persons that I want to connect during MCO, was stuck at home and he was eating too much. That happens to every one of us, yeah. And what happened was that I want to go to the gym. And I knew a lot of gym owners. So I asked my friend who was a gym owner, I said, hey, can I get this treadmill? I rent from you for 2 months, put it in his house, and then after that you can take back after MCO. So I rented the treadmill from my friend who was a gym owner, sent to the person's house, and that was a conversation starter, a big conversation starter. And that was how I actually managed to connect with the person that I wanted to get a deal with.
And so it's really about turning crisis into an opportunity to connect with people and solving their needs in the very different way, right? Yeah.
The summary of my line is that add value, massive value, by trying to solve their problems without any
Sorry, it hangs. I think that's a very good point. Can you repeat again? It hangs just now.
Yeah, I said that adding massive value by solving their problems with no intent of selling anything.
Whoa. So,
I agree with that.
very powerful statement. And why is happiness important? You know, can't you achieve that without being happy? Because you mentioned you wasn't happy when you're in your university time.
Yeah, I was making. I guess it all boils down to the state that you have, and I'm a very big believer of this. That if the state that you have will actually influence the decisions that you make, and the decisions that you make will influence the results. And if you want to have tiny, timid, bad results, be sad. Yeah, do things that sad people do. Sad people are successful too, by the way. Yeah, but why not be happy and be successful instead?
So being happy along the journey, I think that ties back a lot about what Alan's sharing as well. Happy and successful. And what's the things about your girlfriend or relationship that caused that change in you? Because you all had, he mentioned about the engineer and magic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I guess it's an animal instinct that guys have. Yeah, you know, when you see the person that you love, drifting away because you cannot, you feel lonely of your monetary values, then you do whatever it takes. But of course, this changes over time. Yeah, this obviously changes over time. When you were 18 and you were fighting with the guy who is 30, going after the girl that you love, hey, you will do anything you want during 18, man. That will be your drive. Yeah.
So basically, you kind of use that as an opportunity to change your mindset and drive you forward as well. Do that kind of.
It could have not been the best mindset, but that's great because I was 18, Nevertheless, when we were 18, we all have great mindsets, But that was what led us towards today. Yeah. If we didn't have those mindsets that time, hey, I always say this: the faster you fail,
He's hanging, leaving
faster
us.
you get successful.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, Paloma has a question for us. Maybe Paloma can ask since we have. You're unmuted, Paloma. Please share your questions. Are you there?
Yes, I'd like to ask. Can you hear me? Hello. Hi.
Yes. 40 more seconds. Sorry.
I was asking if you could go back to the beginning of your career in magic, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? Okay, I'm a person that is very results orientated, and results comes from trying things over and over again. Yeah, and I believe that if I were to go back and change something at the start, I would actually never achieve the things that I have right now. Yeah? But if I want to be quicker, the one thing that
David, you're freezing. If you want to be quicker, the one thing that then you froze.
I phased out again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right. If I want to achieve the targets that I have quicker, the one thing that I could have done during those days, but I only learned now, was that I should have recorded my journey more. I should have journaled more, recorded my journey more, and measured things more. Because things that aren't measured cannot be achieved. Yeah. So I should have recorded my journey more during those days. Something general.
Great, thank
Great.
you.
David, if you have one summary to conclude your speech, just one takeaway you want us to remember that could bring us to discover our purpose, what would it be?
Yeah. One take home that I could actually impart, if you could actually take one thing back from my whole speech, is just one. Yeah. Surround yourself with great people, even if you have to force it. Yeah, because
always living in
There's a lot of suspension there.
because
I realized what happened. Because do not underestimate the rule of you are the average of the 5 people you mix the most. Yeah.
All right, let's thanks David for his
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Awesome. You all can also have the reaction down there to share that, the clap hand and stuff, if you agree with it. But I think because of time issue, David here have much time to share. But hello, can you hear me? I feel like I'm hearing myself.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. What I learned is helping people, solving their needs, and having a positive mindset during the journey of achieving your purpose as well. So thanks, David, so much for the sharing. And right now we have Alan. Alan has been an two-time Olympian swimmer and a gold medalist at SEA Games. So today he will share with us about the mindset, journey, dedication required to be the best in an area of choice. And the way to do it is I will ask this question and kind of have an interaction in between. But if you have questions also, please feel free to do it. But before we jump into question, I just want to say that there's a few things I learned from Alan that kind of really impact me. One thing is that a lot of people think that those who are on the top, but what's the big difference there? And what I see is that they just do the very mundane, fundamental very well. Just like waking up early, going to swim with 2 hours every single day. And it reminds me, I have to exercise, I have to sleep. They're just basic things that doing consistently has great result. And he also has so much technique. Like it's a qualitative difference whereby even the freestyle, there's like so many different techniques that get us to move it and the environment to change how we do it. So without further ado, let's chat with Alan more to take his story. All right. So, hey, Alan, thanks for joining us.
My phone is hi. My phone is running low in battery, so gotta be quick.
Oh, okay. So, hey, Alan, why do you have to go through to cultivate your mindset and develop your expertise in swimming? How's the journey like? Can you share that with us? Like, what do you have to go through to cultivate that mindset?
Sorry, can you ask again? Because you sounded like robot to me. Yeah.
Same as
Yes,
well.
we can hear you.
No, I cannot hear Frankie.
Oh, Alan, what do you have to go through to cultivate your mindset and develop your expertise in swimming?
Well, before mindset comes in, there are a lot of sacrifices that you need to give in. Like for example, during my childhood time, I sacrificed a lot on social life. Like my friends can go to the shopping mall, enjoy a movie, hang out here and there. Whereby for us swimmers or many athletes, we can't do that because we always need to look after our resting time, our food intake, and also our resting time. Otherwise, we couldn't have the enough energy, sufficient rest, and the amount of calorie to take in order to prepare ourselves for the next training session. Yeah,
I love that because sorry.
Yeah, and sorry, and also having a mindset is one thing, but you also have to know that there's always someone better out there. So no matter how strong you are, you cannot let your guard down. You must continue to aim, set new target, and try to achieve them through hard work.
That's awesome, because a lot of time we kind of see the result and we kind of want to achieve that. You know, all of us want to be a champion in our field, but those are the little prices you pay, right? The time that you have to swim instead of going out to play, and
I think there's a lot of time because that's more than 2 decades.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
with these intense lifestyles and practice required daily, what drive you really? What drive you to consistently swim over the years?
Okay, before that, so swimming has been my life. So I started when I was 3 years old, and my family, and it runs in the family as well because my aunt was a 1972 Olympian. So my family, all of us are swimmers.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sorry, your question again.
What drive? Despite the intense practices required daily, what drive you to continuously swim over the years?
My friends in the swimming pool.
Mhm.
Yeah. My targets.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also the one goal that I have all along, which is to qualify and participate in the Olympic Games. And I've done it twice.
Wow. So that's really powerful. And just like what David mentioned, you know, the environment they're in kind of push you as well. The friends, the people that help him move towards his goal of becoming Olympic. But to achieve that Olympic goal, right, what's the most challenging moment that you could have faced at that time? And how do you overcome that?
There were a couple of years that I've been training, but yet I am not improving. So my performance kind of plateaued to a certain extent. But that doesn't stop me from continuing to do it, to train, and even setting new targets. Because like the one thing that's most challenging for us all is when we train so hard, you know, day in, day out, 20 over hours a week, which is more than a part-time job. Because I trained in the US. So we train day in, day out, and then we are not improving, or we are improving by a very, very small fraction. And the result can be very devastating.
Mm.
But there's one thing that I always remember from my coaches: brush away the negative energy that will affect you and focus on the things that you can do better.
Wow, that's so powerful. Those little moments when we are so impatient, but still focus on the positivity. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And while swimming is always your goal to achieve the Olympian, have you ever felt insecure about this path? You know, have you thought about giving up and not continue, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I almost quit when I was in Form 5. Well, we are all in Malaysia, so we all should know how important Form 5 SPM is. It's like a ticket to open up to the real world, to the university. So I didn't prepare much for Form 5 because I was training. And then towards the end of the year, where that time Form 5 was, I think, in November or December. So I wasn't sure where swimming would take me. I wanted to give up. But then my coach persuaded me to continue. Well, she told me this, and I can still remember it fresh in my mind. Academics is always there. You can even continue getting your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD, or whatever D you want. Okay? Until even when you're at 50, 60 years old, you can still enroll yourself in university. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
however, when it comes to sport, how many years can you do it? Do you want to wait until you are 40 or 50 years old and then only you come out and say, oh, I should have continued?
Hmm.
Yeah. So this changed my mind. So this really, really changed my mind. Then I was like thinking like, oh yeah, my coach is so right. you know. So okay, then I'll just give it a go.
Great.
And
I
then
like
from there, my swimming performance actually improved tremendously for the next couple of years.
So I love how you actually just listen to people and really live a life without regrets. By
Yes, correct.
with heart. Uh, since we have quite a few questions down there, but before that, how has environment and people around you play a part in your swimming journey? Your parents, people.
Yeah, I would say I'm very lucky that throughout my swimming journey, I have very, very supportive parents. They always drive me in and out of the swimming pool to competition, you know, outstation competition. And I always get positive reinforcement from friends and family. And also I have had great coaches throughout my whole life. And without any of them, I don't think I am who I am.
All right. So the people that shape you. What about us? What advice do you give us if you want to dedicate our life into an area of choice, just like swimming? What advice is that you share with us?
Well, in life, there are always uncertainties, you know, and we are always thinking that we are not sure whether we have made the right choice. Whether is it something that you want to do down the road, right?
Hmm.
So I say, well, first of all, we need to decide, is this something, you know, personally, is this something that you want to do and you won't give up halfway? Once you have made a decision out of it, then you stay focused, be positive, and then work towards your goal.
It's just the same as what David mentioned just now, having that kind of emotion decision to move forward in life.
Yeah.
And what has been a key life lesson that you learned throughout these years of swimming? My last question.
Key life lessons.
Yes.
Oh,
Spotlight.
well, I have learned a lot about time management because we wake up at 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then our training starts at 5:30. Yeah, and then after that we go to school, and then we come back for more training.
Wow.
And then from this, right? Yeah, so it's like there is no secret to any success other than hard work, consistency, you know, and intelligent work directed not only by yourself, but also by the people surrounding you.
I love that because a lot of times you kind of want to find shortcut. Is there any app technology or app that can help us do better? But maybe those.
I hope there is because I'm looking for one too.
but yeah, you just taught us those little journey that we take to be patient ourselves, that really focus to having the hard work really. And yeah, so we have a lot of questions down there. Maybe you can get us to share. We have 3 right now. Maybe Gwen, if you have things that you want to point out to. It's open up the floor right now.
I think Paloma raised her hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I go through a sequence.
So Paloma Pictures, I know you have a different name. I've seen you in one of a different platform.
Okay,
on a different platform.
maybe Paloma can share with us since we have 5 more minutes.
Hi, Alan. So
Hi.
I grew up on an island surrounded by the sea. So by right, I should be a very good swimmer, but my parents didn't see the value in teaching girls how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what would you say to those parents who don't believe that children or girls need to learn this?
I get it from quite a number of parents as well because I'm coaching swimming right now, and also I'm running a swimming academy. So in that question, where I would tell the parent, why do you need to learn swimming? Not just boy or girl. I would say everyone should learn because the world is surrounded by water. Not necessarily you need to be a world champion or a champion or in anywhere. But the most important is swimming is a life lesson. It's also a survival skill. What if one day, you know, I don't know, like the entire world is covered with water and then we are living in water? We'll never know. So swimming is a survival skill. So I think it's very important that every single one should learn how to swim at least. Whether you go for competitive or not, that is secondary.
I think swimming changed me as well. That's how I view the world and made me more disciplined. I'm sorry, we got like 6 questions there.
Okay.
Ellen, can you see them, or I could just say it up to you, or anyone?
You just say, you just say it out. Otherwise, I think there's wasting some time there.
All right, let's get you, Raj, to share since they open up the hand.
Okay. Hello. Good evening,
Hi.
Alan.
Hi.
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, if you could turn back time, is there any part of your life you want to live it differently?
Yes. Well, because I was a sprinter.
Oh.
I compete in sprint events, and I couldn't make it further because during my upbringing in swimming, my training wasn't designed to swim. Wasn't designed to build so much of base. Which when I hit swimming is like athletes. It's like a pyramid. The most bottom part is fundamentals. So you need a very strong base in order you can go further in your career. So if there's something that I can change, I would turn back time. I would tell myself, you need to train more, man. Otherwise, when you're up to your peak, this is how far you're gonna go, and then you cannot go anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
I always like to live my life to something there's no regret.
No regret. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Love it. It's go back to the fundamental training. By the way, we have 5 questions here, so I quickly go ask.
Okay.
So we answer unique about one next. Grant mentioned, was there a point of life that you wanted to give up?
I think I shared that just now.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you encounter someone who is better than you? Like what you do best?
I will focus on my weakness because it's easier to improve on our weakness than our strength.
Okay.
So I'll train my weakness and I'll set the target. For example, if I know that person is like 1 second ahead of me, so I'll analyze my own race, at which point of my race that I need to improve on. It can be my start, my reaction, my turn, my underwater, my streamline, my tempo, my breathing pattern, my length of strokes.
Go back to fundamental. And what about what do you do to have clarity in your path of choice?
Oh, tough question though.
Clarity. Yeah.
Well, think 3 or 4 times whether is this something you want to do, and make sure you live a life with no regrets.
Taking calculated risks and go back to your purpose, right? That's why we're here. So how do you feel when you won the gold medal?
Oh, very happy, of course.
Okay, and keep going.
Yeah.
And
very happy that I achieved something. So.
Okay, 20 more seconds. How do you decide how do you decide that you will need a career change, Gloria?
Come again?
At what point do you decide that you would need a career change?
That I need a career change.
Yeah.
Oh, the only career change that I wish for is I just sit at home and let income keep flowing in without working. That's the kind of career I'm aiming for, I'm looking for. I'm building towards it.
and really spreading and empowering more people to swim and break through their limits. Thanks so much, Alan, for sharing so much wisdom and advice. We have so many people cover so many questions and really engaging session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Let's give it a clap if you have. Like, I know you can't unmute yourself, but yay. Thanks, Alan. So much learnings and lessons. Thanks, Alan, for really sharing it with us. So what's our journey right now? After Alan, we have Ninja. So Ninja has been a friend of mine. So he has been bipolar disorder for 15 years. It's not an easy journey. Right now, he'll share with us how he actually discovered his purpose during the journey. Got a married life, successful career, and really just, how do you react to this challenge in mental illness? Right.
Thank you, Frankie. All right. So before I start sharing my slides, I'll just like to say when I gave my description to Frankie, I didn't know we have such a successful magician on board and a two-time Olympic swimmer. So success is relative. And yeah, before I want to start my story, I just want to say that everybody's life's journey is different. Okay. And while we hear people having success in some approaches, unless they're our mentors and we have a regular touch point, like what David mentioned, they're our 5 closest people that we have regular touch points with, it's not easy to take that formula of success and implement it in our own lives. Okay, so when you hear people's success story, if it resonates with you, seek more details with that person and stick to it, right? Because in our lives, we'll hear a lot of these kind of things. And sometimes we hear in entirely opposite ends of what works for people. And that's okay, because everybody's on their own journey, all right? So now I did prepare some slides. So if you could just let me share my screen. I'll start. Can you see my screen yet?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my story. I was born in 1987, so that makes me 33 years old this year. I actually had a great childhood. So unlike some of those other people, you know, they have quite a dramatic childhood of domestic abuse and all. I was very fortunate. I did have a little bit of bullying in high school, you know, the whole trying to get into the cool group and trying to get girls, you know. So I did have a little bit of that, but then it wasn't too bad at the end of it, you know. Like I survived, so to speak. All right. So then I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 2005. For those who don't understand what bipolar disorder is, depression is something that is more common that you might hear about, whereas bipolar disorder is someone who experiences both mania and depression at the same time. So it is a little bit more advanced than depression, but I can also be empathetic towards those who have gone through anxiety disorders and depression. And what I'd like to say about this is that no mental disorder is the same. Although you're diagnosed with a certain label, it helps for your own research, meaning that you can start looking for people of similar diagnosis and take their journey. But then it's your own journey at the end of the day. So I experimented with many treatments. I will not go into details of that. We can talk, that's a story for another day. But to sum it up, I think to look for that specific medication that helped, I went through something called ECT myself, and eventually meditation helped a lot for me as well. Had another relapse right before during college time, so went into depression again. Eventually made it to university, and then in the midst of my university, had a relapse again, and right now is the journey so far. So from what I could learn from my own journey, being reflective to it, is that life has its ups and downs. You need to understand yourself at your worst. You need to understand yourself at your best. And remember that it can all happen over again. So like I like how Ellen put it, right? Like you should never give up, right? Keep trying, keep going at it. Be consistent with what you want to practice and stick to it. And eventually life will always get better, because that's just how that is, right? If you're going through a bad time right now, your story hasn't ended. It's as simple as that. So just keep going. So I think in the early parts of this presentation, Frankie and Karine shared some definitions of purpose, and I think I resonate with that as well, right? Like purpose is something that helps you get up at in the morning, you know, not as extreme as Alan at 5 a.m., but at least it helps you say that, okay, you know, today this is what I achieve. And it helps you get through all the mundane stuff you have to do to maintain your own body, your mind, your spirit. And it helps you go through the hard times, right? So that's why purpose is important. And I've added another keyword into here to call it mentally sustainable. So what I found out in my own experience, again, this is my own experience, is that purposes like it's very easy to get distracted from your purpose. It's very easy to look at someone else's purpose and say that, hey, you know, that guy's having such a good time. Maybe I should follow his path. It's very easy to go through that kind of cycle. And to make it mentally sustainable is something I want to share with you today. Is how do you dumb your purpose down to something that you could do right now, right? Or if not right now, the next minute. You know, how do you dumb it all down and make it achievable at every single moment of your life? And finally, I actually included the hashtag there, and there's a meaning for it. Hashtag in this modern pop culture kind of days, hashtag represents that you're not alone, right? Whatever journey you go through, there's someone else out there that has been through the same journey. And when you put your hashtag out there, you can hear stories like this. And it's in sessions like this that this team of organizers have put towards that you can hear those stories and see what's out there. And hopefully gives you some comfort that whatever you're going through right now, there are other people going through it. And even though your life might not be seen so bright right now, there is a way out, right? So that's the fundamentals of this hashtag. So some myths that I like to go through here. If you have a single, like, of course, again, this is my own opinion. I don't have just one single strong purpose. I have an overview, a very vague one, and then I try to aim towards it every day. And sometimes you hear about this, right? If everyone says it's good, it must be good, right? But again, you know, it comes back to what I started this session off, is that everybody's journey is different. You need to take time to experiment on what works for you. And then once you decide, you stick to it. You know, you don't just get distracted from one approach to another. And finally, you know, timing, while important at certain stages of your life, it doesn't determine your future. If you can't do anything right now, try to get through the day and try again tomorrow. You know, you don't have to just be so specific and push yourself into a certain direction at such an early stage. So what I've tried that worked for me is that I know I'm not always at my best, and therefore I need a layered purpose. So the example for that is that my overall purpose is that I want to make the world a better place. Right? That's very vague, that's very big picture. And at my lowest, when I'm in a depressive state, I actually dumb the whole thing down to say, okay, Ninja, if you're able to make one person smile a day, your job's done, right? And that actually kept me going through the lows of my life. And if I'm able to make one person smile a day, would that make the world a better place? And the answer is yes, right? So that's how I layer my purposes to make sure that's achievable at both my best and at my worst. And I always remind myself that everyone's different, right? And if there are ways that works for other people, they may or may not work for me. And I will only know if I try it myself. And finally, this is the most important thing. I know things always are changing, okay? So when I'm at my best, I remember the times when I'm down. I remind myself, you know, this state I'm at right now is not permanent, and I need to remember how I got here. So when I'm down again, I can remind myself, you know, this is not a permanent state. I remember maybe a month ago, a year ago, I was at my best, and I remember how to get back up there. So then you don't just try to keep yourself at a certain stage of your life. You ride the waves, right? Whenever you're going up, you remember that you will be going down. And whenever you're going down, remember you're going up. And I think that's something that kept me going throughout my life as well. And in my last minute, I'd like to just sum up the learnings that I have, right? So first of all, you need to have multi-level purposes, okay? You have a big picture, yes, you have a moonshot target, but how do you break it down to something you can achieve on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis, so that when you forget your bigger picture, you can always go back to what the baby steps are. Secondly, while your achievements or your failures of the past is in the past, it is the present that determines your future. If you can set a good purpose for yourself right now, is how that will project your future in the future. All right. So always come back to the present, what you're doing right now, what you're doing in the next minute, what you're doing in the next hour. And finally, understand our best and our worst, okay? And with that reflection, also understand that everyone around you has their best and has their worst. And at any given point, don't judge them for what you see, because that's just a fraction of what you see in yourself as well as others. And be empathetic that everybody's on this journey. They might be at different points, they might be at different sections, but try to approach them with kindness. And with that, you approach yourself with kindness as well. So that's all of my presentation. I have the last slide of just some resources and readings that I'll just feel free to screenshot this. The meditation technique I use is called Vipassana. And these are the 3 books that I just thought that would be very helpful. Mindset is about how do you change your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Mastery is actually a lot about how Alan talks about it. There's no secret to success. It's really just about practice, and practice with purpose. It's not just something that you do every day, but you do something with purpose and you'll get there eventually. And finally, a little bit of fictional writing. The Prophet by Khalil Gibran has a lot of deeper metaphoric purpose in that book as well. Thank you.
Let's give Alan Ninja a big round of applause. That's awesome sharing. It kind of just changed my perspective on what purpose is. Making one person smile a day. Wow, that's pretty amazing. And great resources as well. And we only have 2 more minutes left, unfortunately. So anyone wants to raise their hand and ask questions? If not, I'll just quickly go through it. How do you make a person smile when you're feeling low? America.
That's a good question, right? Like there were days where you don't even want to go out of the house, you don't want to go out of the room, and on those days, what I actually resorted to was online. So I would have a chat with someone, and if I just get a LOL, job done. That's it for me. I've succeeded that day, and I wait for the next day. So any little thing, right? And even parents and family that are close to me, if I'm able to just get a response from them, that would be enough for me. And that's how I got through the lows of my life.
Wow, great. Just reset the targets to make people happy. And what about multi-level purpose? Is like a milestone or checkpoints, small successes from you, Raj? Sorry, I don't get the question. Multi-level purpose is like milestone? I think he tried. Can you clarify, Raj?
So maybe I'll elaborate a little bit. Yes, you wanna talk?
Hi, Nick. Actually, what I meant by the question is that what do you mean by multi-level purpose? What do you mean? Is it like a milestone, a checkpoint, or the series of small successes before you reach the goal?
So there's two ways of interpreting it. So one is, first you need to recognize you are a spectrum of yourself, right? Like you may be at your best, you may be at your worst, and you need a purpose that can be achieved at any level of yourself. When you are feeling good at yourself, you know that you're at your peak. You can do more with your life, and therefore you can aim for a higher purpose. But when you're low, you need to recognize that you need to maintain yourself at a certain stage as well. Have a purpose that you can achieve at a lower state as well. And that's how I define the multi-level purpose.
Okay,
thank you.
We don't have time already, but maybe we can quickly go through Karen's question about, through your best and worst so far, what have you understood about yourself?
So I feel that, I'm at 33 right now, and I see, like, even I think there was a I think David was presented, there was a top 30 under 30, right? And there are a lot of young multi-billionaires out there. What I realized as I went through this journey is that most of us, right, actually have achieved success at a much later stage, right? One of the inspirations that I read about was Colonel Sanders, which is the KFC founder. He only reached his success at level 60, at 65 years old or something like that. And if you read some of these entrepreneurial journeys, the average age is actually 45, right? Like, there's no one in the world is near like Mark Zuckerberg or anyone at that level, right? And understand that, we need to take our time for our own success. And the longer we go through this process of realization and really work on the fundamentals of our own emotions, our own empathy, the longer we can sustain the next success. And I think that's what's important here, sustainability of that success.
Oh, that's awesome. Something different to think about. How do we achieve success in long term with our purpose? So I hope you get a different perspective of purpose is. Okay, we have 2 minutes later. So let's give Alan another round of applause for really sharing from his heart and really give us a different perspective of what purpose is in our life. So next one, we have Charissa. Charissa is a lead product designer at Boost e-wallet, best-selling author and founder. And when I first know her was the time that I actually spilled water in the floor, and then she just quickly get a broom to clean it, and before she actually had to present to public. That kind of attitude, right? Mindset.
I will talk about that later, in a bit.
Right.
Okay, so what Frankie was saying, and actually it's one of the very, very key, let's say, things that I see in a person, and if I see this person do this, they get my automatic respect, right? So it doesn't really matter, because okay, so I'm just gonna set the situation right first. It was at startup weekend, and I was due to present in 5 minutes. And then it was just before lunchtime, everything was a bit crazy. And then a participant accidentally spilled bubble tea on the floor. And everybody was just kind of looking at the bubble tea and not really doing anything. So I had to present in 5 minutes, and I was like, who's gonna mop that thing up? So without hesitating, I went to the storeroom and took a mop and started mopping the floor. So, and then Frankie came and he helped me mop the floor also. So you have this mentor and you have this participant mopping the floor without waiting for a janitor to come and clean it up. So that is the type of attitude. When I saw Frankie did it, I was like, you're me. So I really appreciate these type of people that do things to basically unblock anything that there's a problem. You see a problem and then you just fix it right away, because you take matters to your own hands, and that is what I really admire in these kind of people. So there is no level of like, oh, I am a mentor, so I am not going to mop the floor. I am a CEO, so I'm not going to pick up that piece of rubbish. But I feel like true respect comes from people that do things because they want to fix a problem and not because of where they are at and how successful they are. So that's what happened during the startup weekend. So I think that leads me to very nicely actually to what I am about to share today. My name is Carissa Ong, and I am the lead product designer of the Boost e-wallet. If you guys here, I have about 7 to 8 designers under me at the moment, and we are all designing features that to be released to our 7 million customers on the app. And on the side, I also own a publishing company. It's called Penwings Publishing. You can check it out at www.penwings.com. So I have about 4 titles right now. 3 of them are in bestsellers. And in total, from 2016 until now, I have sold about 30,000 books, non-fiction books. So yeah, that's just like a brief introduction. I actually have slides, Frankie. So I'm just gonna like go through it very quickly. Yeah, let me just share the screen. Okay, so yes, this is my products and also my babies. I have a few more titles that I am about to publish soon also. So Midnight Monologues and Daylight Dialogues is both of my babies, and then I publish other people like Timothy Joshua and Zach Shah. Zach Shah is from Johor, Timothy is from Singapore. So I publish other people as well. So this is an example of what I write. I write poetry and short stories. So this is, 5 minutes. Oh, okay. No, I was just looking at the timing. So this is a diminishing poetry that I wrote a long time ago. So I don't know if you write for each other. I don't know if you're all right. I don't know if we are, I don't know, I do. So based on every single word and every single sentence, it tells a different story. So from something that they're not so unsure about, which is with each other, as it goes down, I kind of shave off the words, and in the end, it becomes like them agreeing at the altar to each other. And also motivational stuff, like there's always a second chance if you want to succeed. For Bruce fruits are still fruits if it still has seeds. Yeah. So I published my first book when I was 24 years old. I'm just going to go through this. When I was 24 years old, now I'm 28. Yeah. So I have a lot of problems when I was 24. I just broke up and I had a lot of time in my hands. I didn't really have anything that I could be proud of myself. So I just started being all emotional on Instagram like every other teenage kid. So I started out alone, and I didn't really have the ambition to actually write or publish anything. I was just like being emo on Instagram. That's what all kids do. So I took my typewriter to start typing all of my stuff out, and eventually I
Sherry,
have a
you have 10
community.
minutes. Sorry. You have 10
Okay, no
minutes.
worries.
No rush, yeah.
Okay, so eventually I built a community around my writing. Yeah. So this is where I kind of figured out like, hey, this is something I can do in the future, you know? So again, I started collaborating with everybody, and that's how I started from being just like a nobody into somebody that can publish and also get into the bestsellers. So that's me. That's my first appearance. Like, yeah, first appearance and first signing. It was at Reed's bookstore, an indie bookstore, and I think the first month itself, my book went to bestsellers already. Because the thing is, before I even created my company and everything, all the odds were against me because number one, I graduated as a designer. So I have no journalism degree, English degree, or whatever. And then the second one was that everybody said Malaysians don't read. So why are you even doing this? It sounds like a terrible idea. Number three, you're so young. Are you sure you have anything worthwhile to share? Because people think writing books are reserved for retirees and for famous people that have gone through life. Only they deserve to write and publish books, right? So everything was against me, but I pulled through. I did a lot of market research because internationally, in Malaysia, there's another author called Lang Lev who had her poetry books out in the market as well, and it was very well received. So I kind of put my books in that category, and because I feel like there's a market there. So I'm not only a designer, I try to put as much business into my thinking as possible as well when I do something. So yeah, it grew. I put it to like some competitions and it won some finalist awards. And then yeah, like coverage just went all over, like ape shit, all over the place, because I was so young, and like for some reason, people were buying this young chick's book. Like this girl who only had one actual boyfriend, she actually wrote something, and people actually wanted to buy it. So initially, even the bookstores themselves don't know where to put my book. They thought that my book should be in the local section and stuff like that. But in the end, my goal in the end it was to always even just put it internationally, right? I wanted to distribute it internationally and have my writings all over the world. So I saw that on 2017, where I beat like all the other international authors, which is freaking crazy. Yeah, so these are some pictures. And so what I always tell people is like I just read a lot and I observe how people do things, and I observe how people do them well, and I observe how they do them bad. So I try not to do like the stuff that they do bad, and I try to not to say copy, but improve on things that people are doing good. And also independence, because when you start out with nothing, you kind of have to do everything. So I did the formatting, I did the design of the cover, the marketing, the PR, and like running around, sending people books, delivery. So you have to be ready to do everything that you do to achieve your dream. And obviously, like what Ellen has mentioned, also like time management is my main thing that I always promote. So yeah, I'm at this diverge road because right now I have two jobs, which is my author life, Penwings life, and also my boost life. So sometimes maybe you don't need to choose at all also, because you can be doing both as long as you manage your time properly. So that's what I'm doing right now, both my Penwings life and also my boost life. So these are some of the stuff that I learned, and I am just super, super excited because I was talking to Frankie the other day, and he brought up this important point about having a beginner mindset. So I think I'm addicted to this beginner mindset. So I always love learning things from scratch. So I took up erhu, I took up pole dancing, drawing, and stuff like that. It's just things that, you know, excites me. The actual activity do excite me themselves, but I just love the fact that I have to humble myself and be a noob at something in life all the time. So this is my mantra. It starts out very millennial, but then yeah, that's it. So this is my takeaway point. You can be a jack of all trades and a master of none, but oftentimes it's better than a master of one. So I always promote this to everybody that wants to, you know, have multiple purposes in their life. Don't just focus on one purpose and then like you want to achieve it and then you just don't know what to do with your life anymore. Have multiple purposes that serves to the main purpose in your life. So that's what I can say. So oh yeah, and I want to wrap it up also. In the end, my main purpose in life, to answer Frankie's slides, is to introduce different perspectives and empathy to induce tolerance in human beings, between human beings. So what I like to do is do things that are not conventional and challenge the thinking of people. Let's say like people, the reason why I took erhu because it's beautiful, and also because people think it's so old, gross. Who wants to learn that anymore? So I took it and then I made sure people think that, wow, that's the most beautiful instrument that you can ever play. Even pole dancing, oh wow, that's stuff you throw dollar bills at, you know? But it's super, super athletic. And I made sure people know that, you know, you can have a different perspective in life. It's not just the world is your oyster, right? This word. So it's not something that you should really fix on. So even in the books I'm publishing and all that, I always want to challenge the perspectives of every single person. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Charissa. Let's give her a big round of applause. I actually do a lot of time to prepare because it was a very short notice to get her on board. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's such a busy schedule, but it also spend time with us to actually prepare so much of the wisdom and journey that she has in her life. I especially love how, you know, she constantly try new things. That mindset of willing to stumble upon new challenges was what excites me. And we have a few questions here. Anyone raise their hand? Paloma raise their hand again. So maybe Paloma can share. Yeah. If anyone, please raise your hand if you want to speak.
Hi, Charissa.
Hello.
I'm very impressed with you. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to ask you about the collaborations that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Who did you collaborate with at the beginning and how did it happen? Did they reach out to you? Do you have something in mind, then you pitch it to them?
Oh, wow. That is the tough part, starting out. So when I started out, I did not have any contacts at all. My whole family was in business and marketing and logistics, and I was in design. So we had no one in the industry. So what I do, there's one for MPH distributors. I actually emailed their support email, and they replied. Okay, and then they saw a book and then they distributed it. For collaborations online, I actually actively say like, hey, do you want to collaborate? Do you want to collaborate? So I would just message people. I was like, hey, do you want to collaborate? And then also people message me back as well after seeing that I collaborated with other people. And it was so fun. It was like a fun thing. And then we just tag each other and use a lot of hashtags. And then basically just finding your own crowd. Like for my case, it was the melancholic, dramatic crowd. An artistic, melancholic, dramatic, artistic crowd. So that's how I actually got them to collaborate with me. yeah,
Okay, let's collaborate then.
yeah, sure.
Love
Just
to.
be totally open. Okay, there's some questions online. Oh yeah, I just want to
Thank you.
highlight. So it's very important to know who your target audience is. Yeah, mine is book haters. Okay. Uh, what was the budget that you allocated and prepared to publish? So everything was for my savings. As a kid, I would just save money. I just don't know why I was saving it, but I knew I needed it in the future. So I think I invested about 10,000 bucks for my printing and just everything to do in the first run. And how did I raise funds? Yes, I save up as a kid. Not like the Mahathir's wife way, but 10,000 is actually quite feasible because I did a lot of odd jobs. I sold cranes, I sold cameras, digital cameras. I did a lot. I taught in schools. Yeah, I taught, I think, orang kurang upaya schools. I just did a lot of odd jobs to get that money. Yeah. Another question would be, my pole post looks scary. Yes, it took me about 2 years to learn that. Actually, there's another post called pencil, which is a bit more intense, which 2 legs is just straight up where I just hold 2.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's called a 2-point hold. So you only use 2 hands to hold your entire body weight. Yeah, so that was my goal. After reaching that, also I had that David moment. It's like, oh, did I achieve my dream already? So I went on to a new hobby. I learned erhu because I needed something else to master. Okay. How do I balance my business life and personal life? This is a very good question. I get asked this all the time. So as a person, I have a nothing day. I work 6 days a week, but Saturday is my nothing day. So I could do anything on my nothing day. I could do like reading, I could hang out with my family, boyfriend, whatever, on that day. Other than that, my 9 to 5 is dedicated to my boost job. And then after working hours, and Sunday is dedicated to my penguins life. And also my hobbies would be on the weekends as well. But I try to practice every night. Like I'm going to practice after this also. Yeah. I think it's just more of like really, very acute time management. I plan my days down to the hours, to the minute. Even today, everything is planned per hour. Yeah. So I'm super, super anal about how am I going to spend my half an hour or like my an hour. Yeah. So that way you can cram more things into your life. I even plan how long I'm going to procrastinate. So I'm planning to procrastinate for an hour to release my brain from like stress or whatever. So as long as I keep that schedule of procrastination, I am fine. Yes, very nice drawing. Admire you excel in everything that you do. Actually, that sentence gave me a little bit of goosebumps because that was my mom's prayer every night to me as a child. She would say, I pray that Ying, that's my Chinese name, will excel in everything that she does. So she says that to me every night before I sleep. So I think that is one of the main reasons why. I think I strongly believe in like professing things that you want to achieve. But obviously doing it also lah, like mopping the floor and everything, you have to do it. Like that's half the work. You have to mop the floor. Yeah, I mean you have to do the dirty work to get where you are. I'm still learning. I still want to achieve more. What is my self-care practice, mind, body, emotions for someone who doesn't? I read and I write a lot. My writing is my gateway to expression. So it's not only my job, but also how I handle my mental health. And also meditation. I know I should be doing it more, and I really appreciate the meditation that Corinne did in the beginning. I feel like it's such a good way to just wind down and everything. I feel like I should be doing that more. But again, just writing writing all your emotions out is the most important thing, because it's one thing that I learned to fix about myself as well, because I used to be a very, very hot-tempered person. I would just straight away, I have a lot of energy, right? So what I learned to do is that when I get angry, I stop talking and I take my notebook and I will compulsively write. So usually I write in small little words and I will write for like 3 or 4 pages back to back. And as I start writing, I start to get more rational. So that's how I handle my panas barang attitude. But now it's better. It's so much better because of this. Writing has really saved me. There may still be some people, especially older generations, who advocate for specialization and focusing on one time. The world has changed so much. But in the end, also, it's up to you lah, really. If you want to focus on one thing and be super, super amazing at that, you can. But let's say you want to take amazing people like Albert Einstein or Da Vinci or whatever. They don't just do art. They do science. They do like a lot of different things. Like not only just art, right? And it really helps them with their art, by and astronomy and all that. So it's what I like to do to answer this question simply is cross-pollination. When you focus too much in one industry, you get boxed in. I know you get to specialize that and really know and dive deep, right? But the thing is, life is about creativity. And if you are a person that could take 2 different industries and make something new out of it, you are an inventor. Like you made something out which is absolutely unique, and people would go to you for it because you're the expert in that industry because you created the industry yourself. So that's what I really love about cross-pollination. People just like how I cross-pollinate design and writing, because a lot of people say like, oh, you're a designer, you cannot write one. Yeah, I hate that sentence. Or you're like a writer, you can't draw. So like I'm a writer and a designer, so what are you going to say right now? So stuff like that, that you can actually prove people wrong, that sometimes astronomy can bridge to art, or astronomy could be a bridge to like building roads. I don't know, stuff like that. It's freaking crazy, but it's all about exploration. I will tell the older generation, you can explore, but you can dive deep, but sometimes you need to explore also and learn new things. That's my life lesson. Okay, cool. I think that's all the questions.
Just on time. Thank you so much, Reza, for sharing the story, the creative hustle, and always relentless drive to learn something new and give back to the world. Wow.
Yes.
Any last word for us?
Last words.
Like summary of.
Okay, let me just stop sharing my screen so you guys can see my face. Okay, stop sharing. Okay. Last words. What I usually tell people is just do it. Even though if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, if you have this particular interest, dive deep and execute it in a way until you're bored of it. Like master it, and you'll maybe turn it into a job. Really, if you're so inspired to do something, it won't be your hobby anymore. You'll become your job, and that will be again satisfying to do. That's what David and Alan and all do, making their hobbies their job. And then after that, you have to find a new hobby because your hobby is already a job. So constantly making your life exciting and happy and motivated, because this world's a very bleak world. So you have to find joy in anything that you do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, Teresa, for sharing those words of wisdom.
Yeah.
And I do hope all of you has getting inspired and seeing how purpose live within different perspective. All four speakers has learned some valuable lessons that we shared. But what about the things that you learned? Right? Now I'll go back to you and pass the floor to Karin. You go about debrief.
Okay, I'm not sure if you can see me. I think I'm frozen. Can you hear me? Frankie, can you hear?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, cool. Great. So we will now move into the debrief session. Please do copy and paste the link that I've just shared in the chat box and have a look at it. I will share it on my screen as well. Basically, we will do some reflection lah now. So after hearing 4 really inspiring and purposeful speakers share about how they handle their purpose and what's their driving force, it's time to reflect. What was the most impactful learning lesson for you? What makes them so impactful to you personally, and how will you apply the lessons you learned today? Okay, so I'm just noticing there are comments. It's locked. Okay. I'm not the most tech savvy. How do we unlock this?
I would like Karin figure out. By the way, I can just share quickly about the next session so that we have more time. Yeah, well, see, so anyone knows about how to unlock, please let us know. You're not the most tech savvy person here.
I think you can click on the share on the top right.
You can't do that. I tried.
Okay, why not? Why don't we try this one? We use our presentation slide, so try a different link.
No.
No.
Never mind. Doesn't work. It's the same. No. We need to share that.
Okay. So
Okay,
ignore
so
that slide. Why don't we just do it on the chat box? Let's just do it on the chat box. Chat box, huh? You can set out.
Karin.
Yes.
Okay, in your screen, right, the top right corner next to the key share, you need to click on that. It's yeah, that one. Can you click on that?
Okay, I am trying. It's loading.
You need to make it public.
Okay, why don't I copy this link? Maybe this works.
No, it's restricted.
You change it first.
Let me try this link.
Sorry, I will figure it out.
Click on change.
Click on change.
Changed.
Click on the change button. There's a change text there in blue.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, click the restricted word. Yep. Anyone with the link.
Great. Yep. Thank you. Padlet, Yuvaraj. Yeah, Frankie can consider the Padlet next time. I don't know. But maybe we can use this now that we know how to unlock the link.
Okay, we
can everyone access the link? The last one that I shared. Oh, okay. RC has just RC. Okay, so on slide number 2 is a section where you can type into the little sticky notes. What are the impactful learning points that you've picked up from today? What made them impactful, and how can you apply them after this session in your daily life?
I think you have to press enable edit, because now it's enable view only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You press the share again.
Okay, it's loading.
And then you press view, change to anyone with the link and edit. Can see?
Frozen.
Hey guys, sorry, we almost reached our target of finishing at 10, but It's okay. You can type at the chat box in the meantime, since we figured out the tech issue,
Yeah.
right? What's something that really inspire you? Any quotes? Because your learning won't be impactful if you don't have reflection. It's only when we actually dive deep into how does it connect to ourselves, what's the other stories that get us to a different thinking and mindset. So
Yeah.
think through it in the chat. So it's a way for us to unpack learning together as a community as well. Are there any quotes that kind of inspire you, or is there any time that you felt like that's something that inspired you to take action, that can change your purpose?
Questions.
I can share you some nice music. Oh, oops.
Why can't I type?
You can't
On
type?
the chat box, you can try chat, Christian, because we're experiencing some difficulties on the Google slide. So you just type on the chat box in the Zoom room.
Hey guys, I updated the link so you can use this new link right now just to go to Google Slide. I think Google Slide is a good way to us to synchronize the learning all that. Just give me 10 seconds for update.
Okay, so that means we do chat box or Google link?
Please do Google link. Yeah, I have a plan later. Sorry, the chat box is more like a temporary thing since we are still figuring out. But be great to have it in Google so that we have like a group a reflection there in the nicely.
Okay, thank you for being patient with us, people.
Sorry. First time happens. Yeah, so what's your impactful learning points? What made them impactful and how we learn, apply them?
Okay, is everyone ready?
No.
Everyone a bit,
It's so
another
complicated.
1 minute.
Anyone who is ready can share also, I guess.
I'm just going to read out Stephanie's sharing. After listening to all speakers sharing, they inspire me to believe in myself. Just do whatever my heart wants to do. I like Carissa's. Carissa said, practice new skills and make a job out of it until you get bored. That gave the certainty because I do love exploring different things. Guys, I gotta go. That's why I'm sharing here. Thanks for the session. All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
So we have a few really good ones, like creating massive value by solving problems with no intent of selling, and believing in ourselves is one of the key parts to achieve big decision. And also there's possibility to achieve new things with collaboration.
Okay, so purpose to serve others over self-interest. That's a big one. And how will we apply them? How will you apply them in making big decisions while being happy and sad? Okay.
Before everyone goes, actually, can we take a group picture? Since more and more people leaving.
I already took
one. Don't leave yet. Let's take a picture.
Can we have a picture first before everyone leaves? I'm sorry, we missed the timing by 2 minutes. Maybe you can share the drawing that we have, and then the drawing that you took just now, that kind of the start. So we have a bit of reference point there. Wait, love to see a video as well, but if not, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Pause. Okay. I guess we need around. We can finish at 10 around then. So I know yeah, before everyone leave. Sorry, Karen, you handle the session.
Okay. Okay, so I can see that you're all still typing out. That's okay. Let's take another 1 minute and then we can move on to the next section lah. So while you're all typing, I guess, would anyone like to share something that you wrote? I'm reading here, to be persistent and not give up no matter how difficult things are. And I'm in the stage of awakening now, walked out of suicidal tendencies, want to share. Would you like to share about this, what you wrote?
Oh yeah, hi. I kind of wrote that. So basically I walked out of like basically 24 years of being in pain. Finally, it's like coming out of a jail of pain. So it's really nice to be able to feel joy or feel any other emotion than misery nowadays. So writing everything like now I can be in the position where I'm at the third person point of view, observing myself and my emotions to sort of distance myself. And I could figure out how to walk out of all my vicious cycles. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, it's nice. Like it's nice to hear Carissa's sharing, because I'm writing so much right now, and a lot of people are coming up to me asking for help as well. So that's happening very organically. So yeah, so that's great. Thanks Carissa for sharing.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people message me also, like because for some reason when I write out, I take the real stories that people tell me as well. Like they're going through so many things, suicidal attempts and everything. So
yeah,
I love to give that sort of comfort, at least to let them know that they're not alone, because these type of things is very common. Thousands of people experience the same thing that we going through. So
yeah,
having that comfort that you're not alone is like the best thing ever to actually save your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally resonate with that. I myself had an experience, a journey of being diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I was sharing with Ninja the other day, and during that process, I never felt so isolated. You know, I felt especially isolated then, and yeah, I know all of us have our own respective journeys, right? But it really helped to hear others' stories, like how they struggle and how they overcame. So yeah, that's why I'm really proud and grateful that Frankie has started this platform for people to share. Okay, so let's see. Be charitable. We'll put to use. Would anyone like to share what you wrote?
I would love
before we end the session. Great, Carissa, please do.
I actually wrote two. The first one I wrote is knowing that all happy and sad states are not permanent. I kind of do apply this already in my life, but I just never really like admitted it to myself, that because it might feel very pessimistic to some people. But I think it's really important for mental sustainability. I really like this word, mental sustainability. And how do I apply them? Basically, I will apply them, but if and when I'm making big decisions while being happy, very happy, or being very sad. Because knowing that this emotion does not stay for long, I shouldn't be using this emotion to make very important decisions that will change my life forever. So it's always important to be rational and to really think things through, despite the emotions that I'm in currently. The next one that I wrote was about it's easier to improve on your weaknesses than focus on other strengths. So this one is what Ellen Ong shared. And how I want to make it impactful is that I would always focus on my own journey and not the journey of others. So this is what I also truly believe in. And how do I apply them? I actually list down my weaknesses and really have plans to fix them or use them to my advantage. So I think weaknesses is something that it's not something that you should fix all the time. Sometimes weaknesses are what makes you special. And maybe these weaknesses are like something that you can use to make you unique. So that's how I want to treat my weaknesses, not as like horrible bad children, but bad children that can have some potential. There's always potential in things. Yeah, so that's what I wrote. That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Okay, so now that we are done with it, it's all full. Thank you, everyone. We will move to the end of the session, and I will pass it back to Frankie to close.
Hey guys, thanks for staying with us despite a little bit of being patient with us. So love all the sharings that you all had shared, because we've had for you to join, for the speakers to come. That really gets our burger, awesome burger, meal eaten right now. Just matter. Okay, I'll close the. Oh, so this is what Charissa shared with me as well. It's about we have Instagram. We just have it today, and our first one, yeah. And so if you really enjoy today and you'd like to share the learnings, please put it there, and you can post it in the Instagram story and tag the speakers for what you have learned, what inspired you, and what kind of purpose that you have after you have done. Maybe Charissa can quickly talk more about this, or how does this work?
Oh, this is an Insta story. So basically what you do, maybe you can share it in a WhatsApp later, this image.
Okay.
So you take it and then you put it in your Insta story, and then you just put your learnings and your actions and your purpose there. And then you just tag me or tag Ellen or tag David or Ninja. I mean, Ninja didn't put his Instagram, so maybe you can tag him on LinkedIn. But the rest you can tag on Instagram. And also Teach and Learn, the 2020.
Yeah, Frankie, can you just quickly change that to my Insta? It looks a little bit like I'm the only non-millennial there.
I only have Instagram just now, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, change mine to ninja underscore at Soothsayer.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. Thanks for that, and hope to see some of you having it. And some people are asking for the slides. Some is asking for the information, and we'll definitely share with you. We do hope that you could actually fill out a survey form to let us know what we can improve as well. So before we going, let's go back to my screen, I guess. Kevin, can you share the links
Okay.
to connect?
Share which links?
The links for everything that we have, like the links for our Facebook page, our Instagram, our.
I don't have our Facebook page link because it's an account.
No, it's in our.
So it's not. Is it ready already?
I created already.
Okay, great.
So I'll just here. Anyway, let me do it myself.
Okay.
So anyway, before we end, really like to thank every single person who make this happen, because without you, it wouldn't even be possible for like wonderful Karen, starting from the first time where we see each other, teach and learn, continue to this 4th session. Also, Nicholas also helped us in the start, and Caesar was just taking up the role 1 hour before to do a really good job at managing our time to make sure that it's actually on time. We really appreciate that, that kind of management skills that we have, and all of us to really get inspired by the learnings and taking the time to really prepare and share. Those takes quite a lot of effort as well. So we thank you for making this happen. If you want to connect with our speaker or us, there's a WhatsApp group, Instagram, and Facebook. I just created it. It's a new one, brand new. So you can connect with us there. And then we also like to thanks all of the speakers, and Kevin has a Recharge and Reconnect Facebook page as well. So
It's okay. I'm supporting Frankie tonight.
Yes.
It's
So,
the ninja with his LinkedIn link again.
oh, yeah, that was okay. So with that, I suppose we end our session already. So thank everyone.
Okay.
Next Teach and Learn. Oh, sorry. Do you have any question, Teresa?
No. I was getting ready to say bye. Like that was my hand.
Yeah, we might have Teach and Learn read version 4 or 5. But hope next time, 3 weeks time, we'll update you. There will be email as well. There will be some resources. After you have find out our survey form, we will send you some resources. So please fill out the survey form to let us know where we can improve. So
the ice breaking.
Okay.
Record room. There was an issue.
Thank you. And the slides. Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Now I
Thank
can wait.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Frankie and team.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Hi, John. Ashley.